Davis, and that there.
Right, that would be the west side.
Yeah. Oh,
No, that would be the east side. That would be the east side. Over towards Novella. That now, who is it owns it? The boy that lives right down there where Jinx Wallace, below where Jinx Wallace used to live.
Well,
what's his name?
Well, that was
Novella Davis's son, wasn't it, or stepson or something?
It's her daughter, Nelson. It was Nelson.
Nelson. David Nelson owns it.
Yeah, that boy built a house down there. And there where Jink lived right there, that was Doug Nelson.
Yeah.
He bought that.
Well, is Doug Nelson still living?
No, he's been there a long time. They just letting that house fall down.
I know. And that was probably a pretty decent house at one time, wasn't
it? Doug did whenever he was a carpenter.
Yeah.
Like his granddaddy.
Yeah.
And so he fixed the thing up.
Doug and David is brothers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And David's the one who's still living, right? Right down there below me.
Yeah, right there in that kind of up there.
And they're the ones that owns that tract back there. What is that? Probably about 35, 40 acres right there?
Well, I don't know who now owns that ground back there.
It's got to be Nelson.
Yeah,
Nelson rents it out.
But the boys, they was already rented out. Nelson. And,
they rented out to Jacobs.
Yeah.
Dickie Jacobs is the one that farms it.
Yeah,
but how many acres is it?
I don't know how many acres back that way. They worked it up there around the house too. Milt Willer's house up there.
Right.
But I don't know who owns the house up there.
But you join them.
Yeah, I go right down beside them, and I go plumb to the woods down there.
Well, how much is it that you have all the way, the whole strip? Probably about 80 acres?
About 85 acres.
Yeah, about 80, 85 acres. Mm-hmm. And then if you'll go right there where the house is, where, what's his name that lives there right now? Possum.
Who?
Possum, the one that rents from you.
Well, I can't call his name now. Lester won it.
Steve Lester.
Steve Lester, yeah.
Steve Lester.
Yeah.
All right. If you'll go on the west side of that fence, right there where the corner is, there's an old storm shelter right there.
Yeah, down that road there.
Down that road there.
Yeah.
If you'll go all the way down, that's the part there that Dad and I used to farm because we was renting it from Bill Ramsey, and we'd get down there on those cage tractors when it was real wet, and them things, they would go through mud and water. But man, whenever it got wet down there, it really got wet down there. I mean, it got soggy down there.
You know, down that bottom, down there, I carried one time over to George, who used to be up at the hospital, the old Martin coon hunting down there. We got down in that plain swamp, and man, you go up about to your knees in there, the biggest mess I ever seen.
Yeah, you get down there and it suck you up in it.
I had that land cleared over there next to them, about 20 acres. And it got the swamp in there. While I just quit fooling with it.
Is that the part that you're saying that's still down there now? That's still in your name? About 20 acres?
Yeah,
that you can't even farm because now it's done growed back up again.
Yeah, it's done growed back up. And
so if a man went down in that area and had a 4-wheeler and it was muddy and he wanted to get down there and raise some cane, you wouldn't mind him being down in that area. But whenever you're up here where you till ground, you don't want that all messed up.
See what's the name of them work that ground on the other side over there, where you go down the side of that road there, where that lane is?
Yeah.
That's
who?
Cooper boy.
Cooper farms that? Mm-hmm. Down through there?
Yeah, all of Bill Ramsey's, he farms all of that through there.
He farms all that down there, Bill Ramsey's?
Up there where the grain bins at, there, up where I got off of your daddy now.
Yeah.
The ground on the other side of the grain bins on up there.
Does Cooper farm that too?
That place up there, strip down through there, they farm that too.
Cooper farms that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's connecting to you too then, right there.
Yeah, they
let me ask you this. You told me that you didn't mind me going on your property down there as long as I didn't rut it up in the winter, whenever it was soggy and stuff, towards getting in and out. But the property that's joining you that old track that you bought from us, that you're telling me that the Coopers farm, does the Coopers actually own that, or are they just farming that?
They farm out of that. I don't know who that field there belongs to. Right in there on that side over there, next to the Ridgeway there.
Yeah, next to Ridgeway.
I don't know who owns it.
It'd just about have to be Cooper that owned it, wouldn't it?
I don't know, but they've been working it for a long, long time. But it belonged to somebody else for a long, long time, and I don't know if they bought it or not. I couldn't tell you, but they.
Well, you know, Mr. Cooper put up a great big grain bin over there by his house, over by his mother's house this year.
You know?
Yeah, like probably 4 or 5 times as big as those that we put up down there.
See them brothers, them 2 Cooper boys, they separated. I mean, they don't farm together.
Yeah, I know.
One of them belonged to somebody that's in Florida somewhere, and the other, he farmed there, and his son, TJ, farms that ground in there now.
Of course, Halls, they still farm a whole lot, but it's on over there next to where that castle is. The Halls, they still farm all that over there.
Yeah, they started in up there on the road where Noveller's place is. On the other side where the old store used to be down there.
Yeah.
All back down through there, all that back in that way belongs to the Halls.
Yeah.
And I think, well, the Jacobs own some of that back down in there. You go down there where Jamie Crockett, they can go down that road, you know, back straight back.
Yeah, the old Pratt's Lane Road.
Yeah, back in there, I think.
Yeah.
The Jacobs own a strip back in there, but the rest of it is Halls, and then out there next to the creek.
Well, if something ever happens to you, is Ronald going to continue to farm that farm, or are y'all going to rent it out?
Nah, I don't know what they'll do with it. You know, we'll do that. As long as he fools around, we'll be working, I guess. But anything else, maybe he'll keep it or sell it or rent it out or whatever they want to do.
You think he'll rent it out to Mr. Cooper and let Mr. Cooper rent it out there where the old pond is?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Well, eventually one day something's going to happen to him. How old is Arnold now?
Oh, he's 62.
Right? You don't live forever.
I know you don't, but
One day something will happen to him too.
well,
I'm just curious about who'll be my next door neighbor down there. Probably be the Cooper boys, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you now what they'll sell it or what they'll do with it.
It'd either be the Coopers or it'd be the Morgans.
They probably won't rent it to none of them. They probably won't never end up selling it no way. Because whenever you get land, that's the best property you can keep because it ain't going to get away from you.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine they'll end up selling it. I don't know what they'll do with it. But
So you actually farm about 85 acres down there in below Possum, the guy that you got renting from, Steve Lester.
yeah.
But there's another 20 acres down there that you can't even till that's non-tillable. It's growed up.
Yeah.
So you got over 100 acres in that one
And
lot right there.
I got 22 acres like you go down to Beach Ridge. Over.
And you don't never till it neither, do you?
No, it's all growed up too. The wildlife people tried to buy it off of me back, you know, whenever it's condemning most of it, you know, and buying it. And
Yeah.
they come around and say, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And so I said, well, okay, I'll just wait and see. So anyway.
Do you pay taxes on it every year?
Yeah, I pay taxes on it.
On that 22 acres down there on Beach Ridge?
Yes, sir. They got you taxed on it.
Really?
Yeah.
It ain't much though, is it?
Well, I don't have, yeah, whatever it is, the tax, in my taxes, the whole round shot, whatever it is, I don't have what the taxes is on it over
Did you tell me that was right there at that levee? Whenever you went down into that levee, it was right there on the right
hand.
hand?
Where they got a gate is?
Yeah.
Well, that gate is right over on the right is mine right there.
Opposite from the gate.
Yeah, it's on, whenever you go down through there that way, it'd be on the right.
Yeah.
Basically, when you go down in that drain like that and come up, that round is.
What would it be fitting for? Hunting on maybe?
It just growed up in there.
I mean, would it be fitting for hunting deer or something?
I
Turkey?
don't know, just for turkey and hunting, whatever it is. I ought to sold it here a while. Well, it's been 4 or 5 years ago. whenever the state took it over, I knew the boys on it, and they offered me a pretty fair, decent price on it. So
What'd they offer you?
seemed like it was about I can't remember offhand. They even went down there and soil tested, and they paid you kind of what the soil test went by.
Was it $20,000 they offered you?
Yeah, it was pretty close to it. I think it wasn't hardly $1,000 an acre. But anyway, I always sold it. I didn't do it because whenever that bridge, they took it out and then opened up that thing, that throw that sand, that water went out through
Right.
there and throw that sand all out in there.
Right.
It was the biggest mess I ever seen. So.
But let me say this to you. Since Donald Ridgway has passed away, Steve Lester and Donald Lester, the ones that you're renting from,
Yeah.
no longer goes up and down that Willis Road.
Sure enough. I don't know. Which way they go?
They go in and out now from Highway 89 up there on that other road.
Round up where the old store used to be.
Yeah, up there where the old store used to be.
He had both his knees replaced.
He did.
Same time. He come over here the other day, come pay the rent. He got out of the truck and was walking with a walker.
Well, whatever happened to his daughter, the one that wound up costing me a felony across the
I
road?
don't know what it is. She's
Donna Lester, whatever happened to her?
Donna now. The
Donna is his wife.
yeah. I don't know where them girls. One of them's in up at the Big Sandy. One of them lives up there. Her husband. And this is one that crazy. I think she's living over in Martin. Some was a man over there. 'Cause I know they got the kids over there. They don't keep the kids over there now. Their house. Steve and Donovan.
Well, she costed me a felony, buddy. And that's saying something whenever you're trying to help children, because you know that the children are being exposed to intolerable situations, and because the law is so crooked in Weakley County, they wound up attacking me instead of attacking the ones that they should have attacked, which was Donald Ridgway's clients or tenants at the time. What was her name? I don't forgot her name.
That girl?
Yeah.
I can't recall her right now. But she's the linest white woman you ever seen in your life.
Yes, sir, she is.
She went there and went over to the church and wanted to take up the donation for her mom and daddy. Well, she just lied, which they already got him a donation whenever he lost a kidney. Steve did. He had to have a kidney removed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. He had that. And so we give him $200 over there, and so whenever they come paid the rent, well, I knocked the 1 month rent off on them to help them out. So they was pretty hard luck then. So Donna didn't work none as long as Steve was up able to go and work and all, but she works for the college up there now at Martin. She got a good job up there. She works in the night up there as janitor.
Well, between that family and the Ridgway family, the Sheffield family, and 2 or 3 others around there that was agitating and aggravating our lives, they almost totally ruined my life. To the point that I was incarcerated in jail for about 37 days, 10 or 12 days after David had died. My attorney that I hired wasn't worth a flip, didn't let me know when the arraignment trial was going to be. All that drug inducement area down there costed me a felony. And the whole time it was David and I that was concerned about the well-being of those children, because Kimberly, that was her name, Kimberly Lester. Kimberly Lester had a boyfriend over there that had already knocked the door off the hinges 4 or 5 times. They'd already called an ambulance out there to pick her up 2 or 3 different times. I'm talking about Donald Ridgway's renters.
Yeah, they're in that house.
They're in that trailer. And me and David seen them the guy jumping up on top of the car like he was a gorilla or like he was an ape or something. And we just felt like that whole situation was intolerable for those children, and those children never should have been involved or should have been exposed to that type of atmosphere. And that was the only reason why that we was paying so close of attention to what was going on across the road. Next thing you know, I wind up with a stalking charge, Mr. Melvin, and here we was just trying to take care of the children.
You never know what I've come into these days.
Between the Lester family, the Ridgway family, the Sheffield family, and the rest of those heathens down there in that area, they about ruined my life. Being attacked, being hunted, being victimized. Trying to do the Good Samaritan thing we contacted the people in Nashville, the child support services, the child abuse services in Nashville, and also contacted the child abuse services in Dresden. And all that's on file. That's on record. And I still wind up with a stalking charge? I was going to do 10 years in jail up in Kentucky over 2 non-threatening telephone calls? What the hell's wrong with this freaking country around here? What's wrong with the law enforcement agencies around here? It's got to the point that it's always been pick and choose. If you're the right person, you can basically get away with murder. But if you're the wrong person and you step on a nickel, they'll hang you for you. They'll hang you for it. You hear me? They'll hang you for it.
Yeah.
And they call that justice? That's supposed to be justice, Mr. Melvin?
Oh, this world it ain't the world, it's the people in it.
It's the people in the world. And it's also the authorities. It's the experts, the people that's supposed to know better. You know, the very judge that gave me my time that I was under, I think his name was, he was the high judge over there in Weakley County. His brother was caught with I don't know how many pounds of cocaine. They're all corrupt. They're all doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Well, that's right. That's just like it was down here in Hornbeak whenever they caught all them people down there and them Mexicans back there in them hills full of all that dope and stuff back there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was shut mouth. Too many big people into that.
Uh-huh.
And they
got swept under the carpet real quick, didn't it?
I mean, he sure did.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had a guy who told me that was a bunch of big shots in that crap.
Oh, yeah.
So that went hush mouth right quick.
But somebody like us, if we get caught doing something we're not supposed to be doing, man, they put our names all in the front of the paper. They walk around blowing bugles and beating their chests like a bunch of apes, bragging about, oh, we got him! We got him! And the whole time, I've been trying to help these people instead of hurt them. I had no idea whenever I come back here. You know, you and Sis told me, Juby, if you got any sense, you'll pack up and you'll leave. You won't hang around here. But I had no idea I was fixing to walk off into a dope den. Dope has ruined this country, Mr. Melvin.
Yeah, that's it. That's what's called all this killing.
Yeah.
They take this dope and it works on their brain up there. That's why
They don't have no conscience.
No, they don't know what they're doing. Half of them don't in there.
The bad thing about it is they just got through winning a lawsuit. I think you've seen it on the news. Almost $600 million over there in Oklahoma pertaining to all these narcotic opioids. The bad thing about it is these women are having children, and the children are addicted to narcotics and opioids before they ever even get a chance towards getting out in the free world. They're addicted. They're addicted to heroin. They're addicted to meth. They're addicted to whatever the mother was taking. That's the bad thing about all this.
Well, it's right on you. I know you.
You know, I can always get what happened to me and have it revoked, have it turned, have it changed around, because I know that I never should have been charged for a stalking charge to begin with, even though I admitted to something that I never should have admitted to. But the way that the law was, they had me in between a hard place and a rock, and I really didn't have a choice other than to remain and rot in jail. You know, it's either admit to what they want you to admit to, or stay in jail. So by and large, the system is rigged like Donald Trump talks about. But, you know, I can always have my charges amended. But you take a child that's been born into this world, that's got addictions towards heroin or cocaine or meth or Oxycontins or some of these other opioids pertaining to narcotics. Mr. Melvin, you can't reverse that. You cannot reverse some innocent bystanders that come into this world and now their biological body is all messed up because of what the mother and the father done. It's awful.
Yeah, it is.
It's awful. I've never seen the country like it is right now. Never. And that's the reason why we're having all these shootings and killings. Like you said, people don't have no conscience. People don't care. It's sad.
Their brain is done already.
The devil takes them over, and the next thing you know, they wind up doing stuff that's just heinous.
They ain't got no brain up there no more. It's cooked.
Fried them. I was told that there's some kind of drug out there right now. I don't forgot the name of it. I'm not a drug expert, but it's the size of your little bitty finger, of your fingernail. That if you do it one time and one time only, you'll become a vegetable, basically like a zombie. That it will fry everything in your brain to the point that you won't even, whenever you walk in that door right there, you'll forget why you walked in the house before you ever get to the next room. And you got people like this that's driving. You got people out here that's handling guns. You got people out here that's having children like that. Come on, Mr. Melvin. Who's to say that that wasn't what was wrong with those two kids that was across the road there from those grain bins that wound up catching that house on fire and burnt that old man to death? Who's to say that that wasn't what was wrong with those two kids? Maybe they was born into the world that they already had psychological problems, some sort of biological, chemical, psychological problem to the point that they done what they done. Something's going on. Whenever you take these heinous acts that people continue to keep happening again and again and again. I mean, I really truly believe that we're in the last days. The last days. Just like the Bible says that perilous times will fall nation upon nation, calamities and commotions, and one nation arise against another nation. Mr. Melvin, we're here.
It's already been full of field all the time.
We're here. We're here. Listen, I hope your neck and everything gets better. You're looking good. Your color looks good.
Well, I feel okay. My arm is still, something ain't right about it in my shoulder right there. I had a pretty good lick on it, and that thing, he gave me therapy on that today, and it was pretty sore. So they made a picture of it down there last Thursday, week ago, tomorrow, but they didn't show up nothing in there. And I told them, I said, but you go in, they're supposed to put you through a machine or something and see in there, got your rotator cuff in there, but they can't do that because I got a blame pacemaker right there and I can't run.
What are you doing with your insulated bottoms on? Or are those just your socks?
Them socks are.
Okay, they look identical to thermal underwear.
Yeah, them diabetic socks.
Okay, all right. Will you promise me this?
What's that?
Whenever you do finally get up and going, will you really, really be conscientious and easy whenever it comes to getting on a tractor or a combine? At your age, how old are you?
86.
86, and you just got through going through a major injury pertaining to a car running over y'all and almost killing both of you, and you almost having a broken neck or did have a broken neck. Whenever you finally get, I mean, those tractors sometimes can get away from you, especially if you hit a hole just right and you hit a gully or something and the steering wheel jerks out from underneath your hand. Will you promise me that you'll be conscientious and be very, very particular in behind a wheel? It don't matter if it's in behind a wheel, combine wheel or a tractor or a truck or a car. Will you be conscientious and careful?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm trying to.
Are y'all going to get your automobile back?
Yeah, we're going to get us another one.
Your SUV?
We they done paid off on our other car. The insurance people have.
Well, don't sign off too quick on the medical because you liable.
No, we ain't gonna do
No.
that. No, we're not gonna do that.
No, you liable to have medical problems the rest of your life.
I told Michael I wasn't gonna do that till I found out that my neck and all that stuff was in good shape. I ain't gonna get no hurry to sign them papers. Like
Absolutely, absolutely. But you are going to get you another SUV or something.
Yeah, I'll get another car. Yeah, I will drive the car because it's not as fun to get up in and see out of it better.
Get better gas mileage.
Yeah. The little car we had got about 30 miles per gallon.
Well, I'm going to get a picture of you. I recorded this conversation. You're looking good. Especially for 86. Especially for going through what you went through. What was that, about 2 months ago that you almost got killed? That happened up there in Huntington, didn't it?
Yeah.
Y'all pulled out of a red light and somebody plowed into you from the side?
Yeah, we was up there at the co-op.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Walmart, there in Huntington.
They, boy run that. He looked around and said he didn't see it. There was a red light. We were stopped at the red light and he looked and said, well, nobody coming. Well, he took off and wherever he did, the red light had unchanged from where Linda to go. But you know, I never did see him wherever he hit us.
You told me that. Look at that cat. Look at that cat. You talk about lazy.
Everybody lazy as I am.
That's lazy right there. Well, I went in the house a while ago, and your wife was in there. Your daughter was still in there, and according to your daughter, your wife was taking a shower, so I didn't even get a chance to holler at her.
That's
So I'm gonna let. Huh?
That's my granddaughter. That's Melinda's daughter.
Yeah, your granddaughter.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Mary Alice.
Mary Alice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get off of here.